Oh, good morning, and welcome to the studio of Opening the Door to the Unknown. Uh, my name is Dr. Clark Schmidt, or Magus 100, your host in these series of talks on the metaphysical and on the paranormal. Well, my last vid out, I was talking about aliens and the type of races that do exist down here. Now I know that a lot of people think is that we do not have interaction with um, other alien races, but actually we do. If you remember, I talked about um, aliens among us, for an example, that was written in the I think it was in the late 70s or early 80s. And it's a very good book, and it tells how aliens do mingle with us, and we don't even know it because a lot of the species um, kind of resemble us in certain ways, to where there are again a lot of species that try to stay away, hide, especially like the reptoid, like the reptilian or the praying mantis. Yes, they actually exist. People who have been abducted have actually seen these, especially like the mantis type of alien. They have seen what they look like, and they look like a praying mantis. Um, we really, how should I say, is that we know that they exist, but we really never knew that these type of alien races actually existed until they have started coming down here visiting us for hundreds of thousands of years. As to prove the point again with the Great White Brotherhood, so called, coming from the Himalayas or Himalayas, giving information to again McGregor Mathers, one of the co-founders of the Hermetic or of the Golden Dawn, and also with Madame Helen Blavatsky of the Theosophy Society, and some people might even say with Aleister Crowley, but working with two Greys. So um, plus also I could also mention again like George Hunt Williamson or George Van Tassel or other people again from the early 50s, and also going back to the early 40s with the what was that, the Allagash incident, also with the well, I don't want to get into the Anderson affair yet until I get into the abduction scenario, which is mighty interesting by what we as researchers and investigators have all kind of combined our research and have put it together in one pot. And we all have come to the same conclusion, which I'll be talking about in just a moment. Um, but where I was thinking about with the aliens themselves, I'd just like to finish out here real quick, just to give you a few more names, and as to finish out, this particular series. Okay, the Eva Borgs. These are the cybernetic forms controlled by human entities or humans who have been implanted or surgically altered to such an extent that they have become cybernetic in nature, yet still retaining a soul matrix. Now, remember, I did mention that aliens, so-called, can take the soul from humans, and then they use the soul, and then they put it back. Uh, um, I really don't believe that. Okay, I really do not feel is that aliens have that type of technology uh, to what's the word I'm looking for? Screw around with our being, because we are in spirit. Because the soul is spirit, has a consciousness. That's when we get into when we pass from this mortal coil and get into spirit. That's when really our mental capacities or pure thought it really exists. And so I don't feel is that they can actually alter alter the soul structure. I don't think, anyways, it would be allowed with the source, who actually is the one that has complete control um, of our soul, not our thoughts, but our soul. In fact, there has been a lot of people that talk about, and I mentioned it about the white light. Okay, we got to put people, we got to have a crossover, get these crossovers, and you see a lot of YouTube channels, um, especially on the paranormal, that people say is, well, I crossed over somebody, well, into the white light. Well, now it is believed is that the white light is like a net, which means net either prevents or captures, okay, something. Say, for an example, if you're fishing and you have a fish net, when you capture a big fish, you don't want to lose it, so what do? You take out your net, and then, you scarf the fish up on the rod from the hook. So this is what a lot of people believe, is that with the white light, is that they're not going into the white light per se, but that the soul is actually being um, put in a pen to be harvested. There we go. Okay, but like I said, I really don't believe that, because, as you know, my belief with the white light, you can't put somebody across, you can't pass somebody in the white light and say it was a crossover. Okay, like I said, the white light is that. There's your white light. Okay, so that's only my belief system. But like I said, a lot of people do believe is that if you try to if you try to cross over souls, is that you're putting them in this net. So these particular type of aliens, especially the reptoids, or the reptilians, um, harvest uh, the souls. All right. Um, Now, again, what is the soul? It's energy. And with energy is that it has with pure thought. And like I said, I don't think is that any alien from any race, even going 100 million years ahead of us, have that capacity to do what some people claim, again, with the soul harvesting. All right. So but like I said, it's only my belief system. All right. So let me see. We are in the okay. I talked about the Evaborgs. Now come the Geysens. The Geysen people have been referred to by the Palladians as well as others. Okay. The Geysens visited Egypt and gave a lot of information to the Egyptians on how to say with the pyramids. I, that's just again that's just a type. That's just one speculation. Um, there's another speculation that there's a race, I think that I mentioned, that were over 30 feet tall that helped create the pyramids, especially as they're being at their particular height. Okay. Um, all I know is with the Great Pyramid. Excuse me. All I know with the Great Pyramids is that it took a hell of a long time to get those cinder blocks and to start to build the base and then start to work up. So I do feel is that the Egyptians that the pyramids were not made by the Egyptians per se, but again by an alien race um, that had more of the knowledge. Just like I'm trying to remember his name from Coral. I'm trying to remember the guy's name from Coral Castle. Um, how he created the whole castle and how he created the castle down in Homestead only within a few day time period, and how it's so precise. Um, Richard Hoagland believes is that it goes to 19.6 degrees, which is again with the working with the Palladian system, and you would have to do more with Richard. Have to do more investigation or research, or even go to his site, I think it's called the Enterprise Project, and that will give you more when he keeps talking about the 19.6 degree theory. I'm not too update with that. I did have a chance at one time though to talk to talk to Holman when he was down in Miami giving a lecture. But besides that, I really don't know too much uh, on some of his theories. So I thought I'd just let you know. All right, the Grails. These are Saurian Gray type entities which are apparently somewhat taller than the usual encounter Greys, yet with extremely thin rail-like torso and limbs and are very strong. The Greens, humans of normal size yet who possess an olive green skin color. They claim to be from a subterranean or cavernous realms beneath Europe, which they refer to as St. Martin's Land. Again, the Greys, the Zeta Reptilians, okay. Again, the Greys were with the abduction of Betty and Barney Hill. Okay, the Gypsies. Several sources refer to the Gypsies as having some connection with the UFO mystery. Other sources suggest a connection with high-tech subsurface kingdoms such as a name I can't pronounce. I'm sorry. The knowledge which the Gypsies allegedly possess of an ancient war, UFO craft, and so on is supposedly a carefully guarded secret among various Gypsy tribes. Some claim to have traced the Gypsies back to ancient India or surrounding regions. The infamous Philadelphia experiment information source, Carlos Allende, was allegedly part of the Gypsy clan with knowledge of past present history on alien culture which have interacted behind the scenes in terrain affairs. see, the Hubert. These are hybrids possessing reptilian and human genetic coding, yet who possess a human soul matrix. The hybrids. These are reptilian. Again, since human and reptilians are genetically so different in the physical makeup, a natural hybrid between the two is impossible. However, an unnatural genetic alteration, in essence, splicing human and reptilian genes has already been attempted. Um, I would have to say, with um, with what I've just read, okay, would be like what Monticello is doing, trying to make a better crop, or how to gene splice certain like corn and wheat, or apples and apples and tomatoes, for an example. I mean, um, the Franken, I call it the I call it the Frankenstein syndrome. I call it the Frankenstein syndrome. Again, by like what Victor Frankenstein did, taking body parts, putting in, sewing up all different type of body parts, and the last thing he needed was to find a perfect brain, but it didn't happen that way. And what happened is that the monster destroyed Frankenstein because of just that, by that one mistake of putting, instead of putting in that perfect brain, he put in a damaged brain, which he did not know about. Now, say for an example, if he did put in that perfect brain, then he would have created the ultimate, to my way of thinking, that ultimate. I really don't want to say human, in a sense, even though that Frankenstein used human body parts, um, but he did create the ultimate creature. Okay, it wasn't like the movie with um, I'm trying to think. With Charles Lawton, for an example, in The Island of Lost Souls, or even The Island of Dr. Moreau, with Burt Lancaster. Okay? And if you never saw the movies, I would suggest look them up, watch them, and you will know what I'm talking about in that sense. Okay. I'll be talking more on the Greys in a minute, so I'm just going to move here and get more on the Greys. We don't want that more on the Greys. The Nagas, also referred to as the Reptoids, reptoids, the Reptoids or the Reptoids or the Reptons, the Homosaurians, the Lizardmen, or the large-nosed greys. They play a significant role in the legends of India and Tibet, where they are considered by some to be Dasamad residents of which means is that they live in an underground realm. Again, I mentioned that again with what's his name, Bill Shaver, no, William Shaver, John Shaver, the William Shaver mystery, where William Shaver found a cave, and he went, found, he was like spelunking, and all of a sudden, zip-a-doop, is that he found an underground terrain where he met a few different alien races. Just like Admiral Byrd, when Berg went up to the Antarctic and he found an underground subterranean base as well. And of course, we might even say going back to the Himalayas or the Himalayas, where there are a few different alien species um, that reside. And the Tibetans um, um, have communicate. You might say have communication with them. Okay, so there's a lot of, like I said, there's a lot of aliens that do reside subterranean. They like to hide. Okay, of course, everybody has heard of the Nordics. These are the blonde, blue-eyed angler faces, which I think is that I had an experience where my wife and I had a experience in our motel room up at the Opry's that night when we went up there to investigate those UFO sightings. Those UFO sightings. Let's see, the Philadelphia Project aliens. There's really no name for that, but a lot of people believe is that with the Philadelphia Project, with the USS Aldrich, they're sitting in Philadelphia, the Naval Shipyard, and was beamed to Norfolk, Virginia. Um, this is, um, I do believe that it actually happened. I mean, those in the Navy, you talk to old salts, um, people who have been in for 30 years, 25, 30 years, and they will talk about with the Philadelphia experiment. Uh, so, um, I'm just trying to think of something here, but, yeah, that's okay. All right. The orange. These entities largely converge beneath southern Nevada, North Mexico, and possibly Utah. Some sources refer to a human race with stocky yellow, red, orange hair, others of a genetically altered humanoid reptilian strain or hybrid. They are often described often as having a humanoid form, yet certain reptilian genetic features. They also said to possess human-like reproductive organs and possibly are not a human soul matrix and therefore a divergent branch of the human race or reptoid race, depending on which type of orange one is referring to, as some accounts suggest they there may also be orange-colored reptilians which possess no soul matrix. Refer to humebreds and hybrids. Some of the orange allegedly have connections to Bernard Star, which means is the Bernard Star is in the Zeta Reticuli system. Okay, then I have mentioned a few times about the Orions, which come from the stars of the Orion constellation. A group claimed to be working with the government on black op projects, which means is they can be good people. They means is that they can be good or they can be assholes. All right, let's just put it like that. It's just like with the reptoids, is that they can be assholes. So oh, with the Nordic is that therefore they're within our welfare, just like the Palladians are within just within our welfare. So we do have aliens that you have factions. Okay, is that you have factions that are jerks, you have factions that are helpers. Just it just depends. Uh, Real quick here. The hybrid gray. The following descriptions is of a hybrid female, approximately 15 years old. Height is 5 feet 3 inches. Skin color is pale white gray. The head is slightly larger and rounder than normal. Hair is dark high above the forehead and worn in a long pigtail or ponytail. The face is very fine featured and attractive. Method of communication is telepathic. They consider themselves human, not gray in almost all respects. They care about the grays as any child would a parent, but find them boring. The desire for human contact is great. Well, why not? I think that human contact is a lot better than some of the aliens' contact, believe me. Let's see here. The iguanoids, approximately 4 to 5 feet tall, with iguana-like appearance, yet humanoid configuration. They have sometimes been seen wearing black hooded monk robes or cloaks which conceal much of their saurian features, which include tails. They have been reported as being extremely dangerous and hateful towards humans and lesser ranking reptoids such as greys. And like all other branches of the serpent race, they utilize black witchcraft, sorcery, and other forms of mind control against their enemies. Might say again the Black Brotherhood. In that sense. Let's see. I'm going to finish up here real quick. Let's see. The Lyrans. I didn't talk about the Lyrans, but I'm going to now. Um, the Lyrans are supposedly that the human inhabitants of Lyra, who are said to have common origin with Terra humanoids, were driven out of that system several million years ago. Then it is likely that some of the present-day inhabitants of Lyra constellation may be reptoid descendant. Of course, the Martians, the Martians, inhabitants of the planet Mars, both human and non-human, include the alleged inhabitants of the two Martian moons, which many believe to be artificially hollow asteroids. One of which is said to be under the control of the original Greys. I did like the movie. Um, Invaders from Mars. Back it's a 1954, 55, maybe 56 movie. Very scary. Very scary. Alright. If you have a chance, I'll watch it. I can guarantee you that you will have, not would have, but you will have a nightmare or two. Especially especially with only a couple days left before we have Halloween. So there you have what we know so far about the alien races that do exist here on our planet. And I hope that this lecture was informative, and I hope that you might go through part one and the second part when you have a chance. So anyhow, I'm going to be talking about in just a moment, which I feel is the whole aspect of the UFO controversy and mystery of ufology. So I'm going to take a short break, and I will get into part one of alien abductions. So, see you later.